Peter, sometimes in a girl's life, you find something that just makes you want to fucking tear into it.
I don't need to know what that is, but
It's cake.
I'm
It's cake.
okay. I'm here to talk about cake. All right.
Me too.
Okay. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. And
It's
this is
cake. Few things in life are as delicious as cake. I love cakes and cookies. I feel like if there was no other dessert on planet Earth, I'll be fine. If it's cakes and cookies and me and you and the
yeah.
people we love, I'll be a happy
Well, we're
person.
good. That's all we need. We just need our family and cakes and cookies.
Yes. And I'm constantly scrolling on TikTok because I feel like that's where food lives right now. I think there's never been a social media platform as amazing for recipes as TikTok. I don't know. Am I
No,
wrong?
I fucking agree. No, because let me tell you something. I don't have patience here. And I hate, when you and I embarked on this whole adventure for a podcast, we both agreed we're not going to make the podcast more than X amount of minutes because, like, we can add a little fun and banter, but we're going to get to it because I fucking hate looking
Hmm.
at a 30-minute video on how to boil water and the
Right.
person is talking about how, like, their great grandmother, Miss McGillicuddy over there,
Yes, okay.
who, owned a farm out in the prairie lands, and that's where she spent her summers. I don't fucking care.
No one cares.
I don't know you. I don't care to know you. Just get to the recipe so I can eat.
I just had a thought.
What?
This is why I feel like the Food Network isn't as satisfying as it used to be.
Well, because the Food Network back in the day, like they got on TV and they're like, this is what we're gonna do.
Not
And,
anymore.
and the thing is, it was still entertaining because they would have like a little banter with their guest or with their audience, but while they were still cooking.
Hmm.
While they were still
But
cooking. Do
now
you know?
it's like all this bullshit, fucking like Bobby Flay fighting the world. Like, who is he anyhow? I'm so done with him.
I'm
The
so
only
done with
show I like on the Food Network or used to like was The Kitchen. The ones like many of them, and they're all talking about different recipes.
the only show that is ever worth watching at the end of the day is the Barefoot Contessa, and I'm sticking to that.
I love Ina's show too because it's very classic. It's a
It
classic cooking
is.
show,
Okay. And
not unlike ours.
no, she would never be on our cooking show. She would never.
It
She
would
would
be.
very classily give us the finger and walk away
She would know. I think
in
Ina
her
would surprise you.
in her button-down shirt.
Ugh. Anyway, she's writing a memoir.
Who she is?
Yeah, she's writing a memoir. It's coming out next month.
Oh my God. I have to
Yeah,
watch
apparently
it.
she had a tough family life. I'm actually like, I want to learn about her life because I feel like she's an enigma. She worked for
You
the
think
government.
she
This is
did it
in
on
my head.
purpose?
Her timeline is I work for the government, I married a gay guy, and now I wait for him every day and I make him dinner. That's it. Oh, and I have a barn full of gays whenever I want to have a party.
That's so cool.
That's
Barnford.
her life. That's what I know. So I'm excited to learn about like the middle parts.
Me too. Especially the barn full of gays.
Okay, so check it out. I found this recipe on the TikTok, and then like all things, we make it our own. And
Yes.
this is a cinnamon roll cake, which at first glance, or when I would hear that, I would say, no, thank you. I don't want that because it sounds like too sugary and it's not my thing. And I like a cinnamon roll, but I'm not like jerking it to a cinnamon. I don't care.
I will jerk it to a good cinnamon roll. Let me tell you.
Really?
Don't you remember those sticky buns down south?
Yeah, the
Red
Amish. I don't
ones?
care.
Okay, you know what? Because you don't have flavor. Okay, you don't fucking have flavor in your life, and that's the problem with you. And that's why our friendship is good. Okay. Those Amish people down towards the tip of Florida, that shit
It's
was
fine. It's good. But I'd rather have a cookie, like a chocolate chip cookie.
I do too.
Then shut up, bitch.
But
You don't have flavor
no,
either.
okay, listen here. It's not my fault you're in the eternal land of summer. Because let me tell you
What does that
something.
have to do with anything?
Certain times of the year, that cinnamon roll, especially when it's like gooey and thick and it's icing, like I don't fucking get cinnamon rolls that are like, dry and like
Ugh,
thin
I
and no
know.
ice. No, no. If I'm gonna eat a cinnamon roll, I want it fat and gooey, just icing all over it. So you're wrong.
You know what I just remembered?
What?
Okay, so the best part, arguably, is the center of a cinnamon
That's
roll
such a roll. Yeah.
because it's like it's almost like a little bit underbaked, which is I think my
Yes.
what I like about baked goods generally is like something that's slightly underbaked.
Yeah.
And I remember the time that Ryan brought home a cinnamon roll and you were like, "Can I have some?" And you took the center because you're an egotistical fucking maniac.
I did think of something. Okay. He said to me, "Hey Bear, would you like a bite of my cinnamon roll?" And I said, sure. And I opened it up
That's
and
maniacal.
it it was a fully intact cinnamon roll. And I took a bite of the middle. He did not specify where to take the bite.
That is what bad people do. I just want you to know.
Let me tell you something what he did to me once. Once several years ago, we had to fly to Orlando to go pick up a cat. Okay.
Hmm.
So, anyways, that's a whole nother podcast. And anyways, okay, so my friend Tanya, who lives in that area, knew I was in town, so she came over. I was only in town for like 24 hours. She came over to come see me, and like an amazing, wonderful person she is, because you would not do this for me. As an amazing,
Right.
wonderful person she is, she greeted me with the best thing you can greet somebody on a hot day in Florida, which is a cold Diet Coke from McDonald's. Okay.
Yeah, I would
And
never do that.
you would not. You would like drive by and throw a can of empty Diet Coke at me as you were like going to get something
I
for
just
yourself.
wouldn't think of that. Like, I would make you like cold cuts or not cold cuts, cutlets or like I would do something else.
I mean, you do make cutlets, and you're all right. You got me on that. But anyways, so she comes and she hands me that beautiful crisp Diet Coke, and she goes, "I'm gonna go park my car and I'm gonna come see you." I'm like, okay. And I go to Ryan. I said, "Oh, look what Tanya brought me," and I have it in my hand. And he says, "Oh, thanks," and proceeds to take that first sip of fucking Diet Coke while it was in my hands. So fuck him. Years later, I ate the center of his cinnamon roll.
I hope you're even now, although
Eric does not
I doubt
forget.
it.
Eric does not forget.
Okay. All right. So, now that we've gotten past both of you being terrible human beings, let's talk about this cake.
Let's do it.
First of all, my favorite part is that it starts with a box, which a box is now like my favorite thing to make a cake, right? I used to be a very big purist, like you are a pain in the ass and with lots of things and not
It
anymore.
happens.
So, okay, I'm going to tell you this. When I make a box of cake, even if the recipe that I'm like looking at doesn't call to zhuzh it up and doctor it up, I will always doctor it up in the following way. I add an extra egg. I add a box of pudding that complements the flavor of the cake. So vanilla in this instance. I add a pinch of salt. I add a glug of vanilla. And then I mix that shit together.
Yep.
Oh, and the oil. I only use oil because I feel like if you melt butter and put it in the cake, it's a waste of butter. It doesn't add
It is.
flavor, in
I
my
agree with you.
opinion.
It is.
Right?
It is.
So I just add oil in whatever amount the box says, right? So I don't deviate from the measurements, right? Except for the eggs, I will add one more egg. And I feel like it makes the cake not only taste better, but it gives it a little bit more body. So, and moisture, which who
Mhm.
doesn't want body and moisture, baby? Especially at your age.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but I do moisturize every day, so thank you. I use baby
Okay.
powder. So,
So you put that shit into a 9 by 13 greased pan.
Yep.
With your temperature set at 350 in the oven while you're doing all the shit, right? Which is something people don't say. Like, if you're a new person, a new baker, turn on the oven first.
yeah, turn
And
the
then
oven
do
as
all
you're
the shit.
preparing. Turn the
Right.
oven as you're preparing.
Because it'll save you time. Because if you're already mixed all the shit and you're so excited to put it in there and you can't because that shit hasn't beeped yet because it's not 350, it's super annoying in my personal opinion. Okay. So while you do that, right, you're going to take out a stick and a half of butter. You can soften it in your microwave by, this is what I do. I put the stick of butter in the microwave and I put 5 seconds and then I turn it into another side, 5 seconds, turn it to another side, 5 seconds. That's what I do.
I do the same. I do like 10-second intervals, but I do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
I just
And
touch it. And then when it has give to it, then I know.
a little bit of, yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
a little squishy, but not too much because that shit melts real fast.
Yep.
So you put that in a bowl and then you add a cup of packed brown sugar because brown sugar is the
Is that-
best sugar.
That's life. Absolutely.
2 tablespoons of flour. And the recipe originally called for 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, which is not nearly enough.
It's nowhere enough. It just tastes like fucking sugar.
You could double it probably.
Easily. I did.
Yeah, I did a fat juicy tablespoon of cinnamon and then I added about half a teaspoon of cardamom because I had it. And
Mhm.
because I feel like those two flavors are so warm and delicious that they go well together. And I feel like there's an elevated flavor to it, which I love cardamom. I could sing the praises of cardamom all the day
Oh,
long.
I also put a capful of vanilla in with
Yeah.
the
With the, oh
the-
yeah.
that's it.
With your
Mhm.
cake or with the filling?
The filling.
What a fucking bitch. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mix all that together until it becomes one homogeneous mixture. And then you spoon it on top of your cake. When you are mixing it, like doing a swirl, don't go crazy. don't do too much. Don't be like the other girls. Be demure.
No, I fucking hate that in TikTok.
I was
Keep
waiting
going.
for you.
Keep going. Fucking hate that shit. Keep going.
I love Jules. You're such a fucker. Why do you have to hate everything? I love her. Anyway, so be demure about it. Do not fucking like ransackle it because then it falls to the bottom. Did yours fall to the bottom?
It did fall to the bottom. Yes.
And did you hyper fuck it around a little bit, or like were you demure?
No, I ate it.
No, when you put it on top of the cake, when you swirled it, were you a little bit too rough, or
I was too rough with that, and I kind of learned you can't do everything. You just got to lightly move it around, like just don't let it sink. Even just lightly move it around, and it will.
It will find its place
on the top. It will go down to the rest of the cake. So just you want to see the brown on the top, basically. Yes,
like you want to feel like you maybe didn't do enough, and then you did enough. You bake that. It took mine about 32 minutes, I want to say. I know it's really, I'm a precise person, but just check it at 20 and then check it at 25 just to see.
Everybody's oven is different. Mine was 27 minutes.
Okay, cool.
But everybody's oven
is different. Yes. Even sometimes my oven is different depending on what I put in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you do that. And then once it's out and you're having it on your cooling rack, which is what I do, I put it on a cooling rack so it cools faster. Then I made my icing. I put in about half a cup of cream cheese. I like mine on the tangier side. I'm not a sweet, cloyingly sweet icing type of person. I did about half a cup of the cream cheese. I did maybe like 3-4 tablespoons of powdered sugar, a little bit of vanilla, and maybe like up to a quarter cup of cream. I used whole cream because that's what I had. And then you just whisk it until it becomes a little bit less lumpy because, cold cream cheese with cold things, when you try to mix it, it's a little bit lumpy. It's okay if it is because it's going to melt when you put it on the cake. Yes. And then I just slathered it all up in that shit and I let it sink in.
Mm-hmm. I poked holes in my cake so I can let it sink in a little bit.
I like that. That's very nice. I put
vanilla in that too.
You're not like the other girls.
No, ma'am.
Yeah. And then you kind of eat it. When I made it, Eric was like, eat that shit now. And I'm like, but it's still,
I'm like, serve it to everybody. I want to see everybody eat it right now. I wasn't going to make it because I don't have, what is that called? Willpower. And because, we're recording on Labor Day, I'm going to be around a cake all day. So Ryan's going to take it to work. So I'm good about that. Go on. Yeah. And I tell you, like, my kids ate it and they were just thrilled. My daughter said, Mom, can we have it for breakfast because it has cinnamon in it? And then I said, you know what? Fuck it. Hell yeah. So today we ate that shit for breakfast and it was delicious. It's good. It's better than a cinnamon roll. It's really fucking good.
Delicious.
And like you and I were talking about, you should basically, if you follow us, you should basically have every single item in your cabinet. Maybe not a box mix. Maybe you had to use it for something else. Always keep a box mix in your home, by the way. Always. When I'm at the grocery stores, I always pick up a box mix. But other than that, that's the only thing I had to buy. I had everything else in my house. Make this shit today. Do it. It's easy, it's quick, and it is delicious. Your family's gonna love this. Oh my gosh. I think I'm gonna have another piece today. It's fucking sweet though. Go have another piece. I cannot, but you go have another piece. Enjoy that shit. And you can put this in your repertoire for your fall baking. And it's going to be something that people are going to ask you for over and over and over and over again. All right, you guys. I want you to, first of all, always have a box of cake mix and then always make this in the fall. Every time you can. Every day. And then don't forget to leave us a 5-star review in your Apple Podcast player. Share us with your friends. And don't forget to send us an email or some love. Or if you have any questions about our recipes, we're happy to answer them. Have a fabulous week. And we love you. Take care. Bye-bye.